Hi, today we'll take a look at the URL management capabilities given by ZHERO. Let's start by opening URL category in the side drawer. All the URL categories here will have a tab with the URL and keywords list. In this case, we have 13 URLs in this URL category, and here you are able to see them all. You will see the URLs, you will see which type of URLs defined in the URL category. In this case, they are retaining parent category. And if you have set up the OneAPI credentials inside ZHERO, it will also be able to do URL lookup automatically for all the URLs inside the tab. In this case, you can see here for all these URLs, you have also the lookup that will say in which standard URL categories these URLs pertain to, not only, also in which cloud app this URL pertains to. This is already giving us an incredible insight, because if you see, for instance, this URL category that we opened, SSL Apple PIN, is actually used in free policies. And these policies are this firewall test rule, this Apple certificate pinning rule inside the SSL inspection, and also this other SSL. So this is a disclaimer, a testament, so the policies not always make sense. We use them for test and demonstration purposes. Anyway, as I mentioned, this category is used in free places, free policies. But if you see the badge of all these URLs, they're saying that they are actually implicated in a lot more policies. Like if you see mail.me.com, the wildcard, it's used in 4 policies. Why is this? Because 3 of them are coming from the SSL Apple PIN, but because we did the URL lookup, and we know that this is a webmail, we have another policy, the URL filtering policy allow, that it's using the webmail category. So in this case, means that this URL, it's implicated in 4 different policies. If we go even further, we see that, like, for instance, iCloud has an 11 as the impacted policies. Why? Because we have 3 from the URL category we're looking to, 8 from the file host category, which it's used in a lot of places, and 1 from the iCloud cloud app, because we have a cloud app rule. The name of the rule, it's allow Dropbox, but if we do a drill down, we will see that inside allow Dropbox, we are not allowing just Dropbox, but we are allowing also iCloud, and this is why. So this is from a troubleshooting point of view. What else you can do here? Here you can do a lot of interesting things. First, you can just select the columns and copy the list of the URLs to the clipboard. If I am opening a text editor, I can then paste the list of these URLs here. You can have maybe 1,000 URL, for instance, and then you can use this list somewhere else. You can copy to Excel because you want to save the list of URLs. You can have a backup of your URL categories, and you can maybe compare this list with something else or do some manipulations. I do not want to consider these URLs, and I decide I want to delete these URLs. Okay, so I did some work on the URLs. Now I can take the list back. I can come here, and here we have also a select from paste function. If I put the URLs here, you will see that now I have only 5 URLs selected, and these are the 5 URLs that I pasted up there. Why is this useful? Because this way I can easily export the URLs by selecting them, do some analysis and some work externally, then come back, and maybe if these are the URLs I decided to delete, select them like this, and then here I have a delete button, and I can mark these URLs as deleted. As you probably already know, the deletion doesn't happen instantly on the Zscaler tenant, but it's queued in a pending queue changes here in ZHERO, so later you can review all the changes that you made and decide if you want to apply them or not. But let's go back to the category that, as you see now, it's marked as pending change, and you will see all the changes all around. So what else we can do? For this, let's open another category. Let's say I'm opening this other category, and here I have 1,500 URLs, but maybe I want to do some other improvements which will let me demonstrate some other features. So let's say, first of all, I have a search here. So I don't know. We were looking at Apple pinned. Let's say if we have something with Apple inside the URL, okay, we have one, but doesn't pertain to Apple, so it doesn't matter. But as you see, we have a search engine, so it's really easy to look up URLs inside a category. But the search is not just for URLs. We can do the search also for categories or cloud apps. So one of the things that you can do as URL management, which is actually also a good cleanup best practice with Zscaler ZIA, it's for instance this one. Let's say we are using big block category as a URL category in a URL filtering block policy. Everyone, okay? It's not the case now, but let's just imagine it. So I have this 1,500 URLs, which I'm blocking access to everyone. But on the other side, I probably also have some URL filtering rules that are already blocking standard categories. For instance, I'm pretty sure in this tenant, I have a URL filtering rule blocking pornography. But let's see if it is true. So I can filter here for pornography. As you see, will filter all my 1,500 URL and show me only those that have pornography as a category. So at the end, I have in total 1 page and something, a bit more than 50. If I hover pornography and drill down, I will see that, yes, as I was supposing, we have block rule in the URL filtering policies that it's blocking pornography and it's doing it for everyone. So if you reason a second, you will see that it's pretty useless for me to block these URLs twice, because I am actually blocking them once with big block and blocking them twice via the category. So I'm making my configuration less readable and less maintainable because of this. So what can I do now? I will select these 2 pages of URLs, and again, I will delete them. So as you can see, my URLs went from 1,500 to a bit less, because I removed 63 URL. And I can go on and repeat this. Maybe I saw that there is also like anonymizer. As you can see, also anonymizer, it's blocked. So these are less, but again, I can delete also these. And now the removed URLs are 70. And I can go on and go on. So this is another interesting thing that you can do this way. What else you can do? Let's go on to this other category. Let's say you want to add some URLs here. Say we want to add windows.com. Okay, and as you see, the URL has been added. Probably I will find it at the end here. So as I mentioned, if you configure one API, it will do the lookup automatically, but it will do the lookup only when you open the tenant or refresh the page. So in this case, windows.com, it's not yet lookup. But again, in this table, you will have the capability to click on the button and do also single lookups to know which category his URL pertains to. And here it is. So this is a general SSL exclude category. Again, don't look at the configuration of this tenant because it's just for demo purposes. But let's say that for best practices, it's better if I don't have this generic kind of SSL excludes. It's better if I have them separated by purpose. And let's say that one purpose could be Microsoft. Okay, so maybe I want to take all the Microsoft URL, which in this case are 2, but maybe let's see if there are also Windows, other 2. I can select them just not all together, but start with the Windows one. What can I do? It's also move these URLs to another category. And if you have some experience with ZIA doing this manually, it's not that easy. This way, I can or move them to a pre-existing category, or maybe creating a new category. Let's say SSL exclude Microsoft, maybe enter a description, and then I can decide which type I want them, and they are retaining parent category, so I will keep it. But if I want it, I can change to another type. I can decide if I want to move the URLs or copy them. In this case, I want to move them. So by doing this, I will delete these 2 URLs from here. So you can see one removed. Why one? Because Windows, we just added it. So at the end, it was never added to Zscaler, but here we moved Windows. As I mentioned, all the changes are sent here in my pending change queue. So you can see I have one change in the SSL pin category where I removed 5 URL, another change in my big block where I removed 70, and another change in the SSL exclude that we just did when I remove just one, and another change where are we creating the SSL exclude category. So let's say I don't want to execute the others yet because I'm not sure, so I will execute just this one. Okay? That's it. So the other three changes remained in my pending queue, and you will see now the activation appeared in ZIA because here you see the new category, and here it is, SSL exclude Microsoft. And if we look into it, we have the two URLs added before, but now I can move the other Microsoft URLs. There are some with Azure. Yes, perfect. I can take this down and move them to SSL exclude Microsoft. And as you can see, making changes and improving my configuration this way. What else? Let's open again a category like SSL Microsoft, for instance, which we were working on. You see, if I see from the ZIA point of view, here I have just two URLs, the one I committed. But if I'm seeing things from a ZHERO point of view, I actually have 4 URLs because I sent all of those here. So what other features we have here? We can also edit the URLs. So let's say we have these 3 URLs where we can change them. I don't know, just to demonstrate, let's change Tesla into Tesla Test. You will see Tesla disappeared here because there is no actual way to rename a URL. But you see the number of removed URLs increased, and also there is one added. So if we go to the end, we'll see that Tesla has been removed and Tesla Test has been added. This is also really useful because if you are doing this manually, again, you first need to find this one, delete that, then add this one. Usually it's a mess. This way, really, in a few clicks, you can open this box, edit all the URLs that you need to, and apply the change. Now, what else is useful and important to know? It's that ZHERO, while working with these URLs, will not just look up the URLs from the URL categories, but he will also look up the URLs from everywhere else in Zscaler. Okay, so for instance, let me add a URL here, which is example02.com. I'm using this because I know that I put these URLs in a lot of other places just to be able to demonstrate this. So I will add it. And as you can see, yes, example02.com, it's impacted in 11 policies. It's that if I do a drill down and click here, he will show me all these interesting things about this URL. So not just the fact that it's used in URL category, but look at this. It's used in this firewall rule. This firewall rule, it's a test rule with a lot of mess inside, but it's using the URL directly, not as a category, but in the firewall rules, you can add destination addresses by FQDN, which are not easy to track. Usually in the normal everyday ZIA, to know that you have this URL here, there is no other way than explore dozens and dozens of pages of configuration, and you will probably miss it anyway. Then, as you can see, it's saying to me that I have this URL configured in authorization bypasses. This is an advanced settings of ZIA. Then I have this URL configured in FTP settings. This is also a settings in the firewall rules in ZIA. Then I have the URL categories, but then I have this URL configured also in the destination IP groups, because yes, I can put FQDNs also in the destination IP group. And then look at this. I have it configured also in an app profile, because ZHERO, if you configure the one APIs, will read also the configuration of the app profiles and forwarding profiles. And here I configure this URL as a VPN gateway. You see, VPN gateway is example02.com. So this is really, really useful about URL management in ZHERO. Another thing that's also useful is that ZHERO will check also related URLs, which means that if I have a specific URL, he will check if I have wildcard URLs containing that specific URLs, and vice versa. If I have a wildcard, it will tell me which specific URLs are relative to that wildcard. in this case, I'm looking and drilling down these specific URLs, and it says to me that I have wildcard.example02.com as a related URL, you see? And if I click and drill down here, it will do the opposite. I'm looking at the wildcard, and it will tell me which other specific URLs are related to this one. And in this case, there is not just the one that we were looking at before, but there is also a test.example02.com. Really, really useful. So to conclude, just a few things missing. I've reset all the pending changes that we did before, but I wanted to show you another thing. As you see here at the end of some entities, you can find this badge, blue badge with a number. This means that there is an active analysis template on this entity. We can find also some of higher level, like here you can see saying active analysis template from a high, severity high, while here severity critical. But let's stay in the URL management topic for now. So if you open this, you will see that we have another tab with the analysis. And in this case, we have an active low-level analysis template, which is from the optimization category, which means that it will have no impact with security, just with the optimization of the policies. And it's telling us that in this URL category, we have defined these 3 URLs, which are related to each other. This one is wildcard of the top level domain, while these 2 are specific QDNs, specific for the top level domain and specific for a subdomain. And the wildcard, it's already including both of this. So it's telling me that I can optimize my configuration by removing these 2 URLs. And in some cases, I've seen this policy activated in some customer tenant with URL categories of thousands of URLs. And here we had like hundreds of URL that were cleanable. And if you want, you can see the changes in the diff. And again, you can apply the changes and it will remove the URLs. The other analysis templates, they will analyze URLs in the tenant, but maybe they are not tied to the URL categories directly. For instance, if we go to the analysis templates in general, we'll see that in this tenant, we have a critical template that's telling us that in the SSL inspection bypass, we are bypassing a wildcard domain pertaining to a CDN. This is really, really bad. So this was just to show you that we have other things that will constantly check on the quality of your URL configurations. Beside this, we have also an URL export to Excel feature that it's already documented in another video. You can find the link to that video in the description. Thank you.